The Washington Association of Police Chiefs and Sheriffs recently released its 2022 annual report on crime in Washington state. The almost 600-page report covers statewide trends as well as individual agency data. This report provides the most comprehensive snapshot of criminal activity in our state. In 2022, Washington state overall saw an increase from the previous year in every major category. Crimes against persons, crimes against property, crimes against society, violent crime, and assaults on law enforcement officers all increased across the state. Washington saw another record-breaking year in homicides in 2022, breaking the previous record of homicides in 2021. Unfortunately, Spokane was not immune to this trend. Overall, our crime rate in 2022 increased 8.5% from the previous year. Why is this happening? Criminogenics, the causes for criminal behavior, are multi-layered. Drug addiction, mental health illness, antisocial behavior, these are just some of the reasons people commit crimes. Additionally, the justice system involves many layers, from police to prosecutors and defense attorneys to judges, jail and prison populations and capacity, treatment programs. Habitual offenders, those who have demonstrated by word or deed that they have no desire to stop their criminal behavior, continue to draw significant resources. One example occurred in June of 2022 when Spokane PD arrested a subject for a heinous sexual assault after he accosted a female waiting at a bus stop and forced her into an alley. At the time of the crime, that suspect had 22 felony convictions. These are convictions. Time after time, we continue to see the same offenders prey upon our citizens. They leave a wake of destruction everywhere they go. This small portion of the population is creating major issues in every jurisdiction. Accountability is a necessary component of any rehabilitative effort, but many obstacles exist to holding offenders accountable. One such obstacle is the Spokane County Jail facility, which is outdated, overpopulated, and inefficiently designed. Officers seeking to book arrestees will frequently spend hours waiting in line for jail to have the capacity and resources to allow an arrestee in, only to have the suspect released shortly thereafter, again due to lack of available space. The hours that the officer sits in their patrol car are hours he or she could be and should be responding to other calls for service. Compounding the lack of meaningful accountability or availability of jail space are diminishing law enforcement resources. Washington state is literally last in the nation for number of officers per capita. Funding for law enforcement is often diverted to other areas. Grants and other funding sources are diminished to fund other, perhaps meaningful causes, but to the detriment of law enforcement capability. In 2018, the Department of Corrections had over 18,000 inmates in Washington state. Since then, the inmate count has been systemically reduced. Prison wings or entire prisons closed to where the current prison population is now less than 13,000 inmates, all while our population continues to increase year after year. To accept this reality as a good thing, we have to believe people are behaving better, which the crime numbers show is clearly not the case. So our population is going up and our prisons are being emptied. There are 28% less people incarcerated in Washington state than 6 years ago. And we see that crime goes up significantly. Reducing the number of those who should be in prison by almost 30% over the last 6 years leads to more and more emboldened criminals like the one I described earlier. That poor woman should never have been a victim, and certainly not the victim of a 22-time convicted felon. Your officers are working hard and they're committed to finding solutions to make Spokane safer for all of us. And I am committed to educating the public about the issues that impact safety in our city. The mayor and I have spent the past several years working with legislators to bring law enforcement officers more tools and to ensure that any laws related to community safety have the victims in the community as the number one priority, and we will continue to do so. In the meantime, SPD continues to make thousands of arrests every year and responds to nearly 300 calls for service every day. We thank you for your continued support of our agency.